Bob writes about it. Jim talks about it. But Chuck did something about it.
Foreman on a big hole across the 10. He's something else. He's out in touchdown land. He's something else, baby.
Now, here's longtime columnist Bob Sansevere, Fox 9's Jim Rich, and the great number 44,
Double 4.
Chuck Foreman.
Welcome to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, another Vikings legend, the superstar Mike Morris, Jim Rich from Fox 9. He doesn't like when I call him a legend, even though he is the preeminent
correct
sports director in Minnesota.
What's this show brought to you by?
I'm getting to it. I'm Bob Sansevere, and this show is
called
brought
a deflection
to you by The Window Store. They don't just do windows. They'll do whatever you need to fix up your your home, your land, anything. If something falls over, they'll pick it up and straighten it out for you. How's that?
It's amazing. They do remodeling, kitchens,
Everything.
refacing.
Yeah. All that
defacing.
stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what you did back in your day.
Oh yeah,
Defaced a lot of opponents.
All right.
just for the fun of it.
Let's get right to it. The Vikings, they are now they're no longer the Minnesota Vikings. They're the UK United Kingdom Vikings. 2 games over on the Ireland and in England, back-to-back weeks. They don't leave. They're heading out there. They're packing their bags. You probably got to figure that they. That is a long trip. They'll be there almost 2 weeks, right? Going to Ireland first, and then they go to, what is that, Tottenham Stadium? That's like their home stadium.
Correct.
So, what do you think of it? I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
It's more of the NFL pushing their product overseas. They are seeing these markets as places for future franchises. And so now they want to see what happens to a team if they sit over there, play 2 games, and then come back. Do the wheels come off for the players? Are they a mess afterwards? Or can they do this? Because this will be the test case. The Vikings are the guinea pig to see what happens to a team that goes and does this. And if it works out fine, you'll see somebody else do it next year as they continue to build a stranglehold on Europe, and eventually you'll see 2, maybe 4 franchises over there.
Hey, well, both of you played football, and you played overseas, right?
Yeah, twice.
Okay, Chuck, you never went overseas then, but how would you guys want to be there for 2 games or 2 weekends? It's a lot, it seems like.
I wouldn't bother me.
I mean, if as long as you're getting paid, as long as you're getting paid, it would be tough.
On Tuesday, it's all good.
Yeah. I mean, family. I mean, if you have a wife and kids at home, little kids, it'd be tough. But it's not like it hasn't been done before. You go to training camp. We used to go to training camp for like 6 weeks. You have to do the same thing. Yeah, same thing. And it's all about mental toughness. It's all mental toughness. It just is. It's like Denny Green used to say, I don't care if the steak is cold or the bed isn't soft. I want to win tomorrow. I don't care about the other stuff. And he would and going in and out of bye week. He wanted to win going into the bye week and not cash your chips in and not play the game well going in, or come out all vacationed up and not feel like playing football.
He never lost the game coming out of the bye week, did he?
The time that I was with Denny, I think we won in and out. We won 12 games in a row.
Wow.
Yeah. He meant it. We would prepare. We would come back a day early and get into pads right away, and he'd get us back on track.
Now, this could turn out to be 2 terrific storylines because it's Pittsburgh in Ireland, the Browns in England. But if Pittsburgh signs Aaron Rodgers, there's going to be that element. And then if Shedeur Sanders is the starting quarterback for Cleveland, there's a lot of storyline possibilities happening.
It definitely would, especially the Aaron Rodgers thing with Mike Tomlin. That's the story.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that.
Them coexisting.
But I know one guy who's going.
I don't know Mike Tomlin.
He's not going to put up with anything.
Oh my God, that's going to be one tough flight for Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you right now, if he plays for them, he's going to have to put up with what Mike's got for him. He's not going to be able to pull the same garbage he's been pulling.
No.
Mike is not going to have it.
If he wants to play, he's not going to be able
right.
to.
Exactly. I mean, that would be truly the storyline. I'm not
Absolutely.
as worried about the kid in Cleveland. Yeah, I mean, that's a story because he's a rookie, and can he compete? Is he better than where he got drafted?
Hold up, time out. What do you mean, can he compete?
At the NFL level. At the NFL level.
Okay, well, let's
like any rookie quarterback, right? Like you and I both said.
He's a rookie quarterback, but he's a daggone good rookie
No,
quarterback.
I didn't. No, I mean, to prove himself as a better player than what he was selected at.
Well, everybody knows he was better than he was drafted at. That's just like a known.
I agree with that, but the story is going to be him starting being the rookie quarterback and proving that he was what he was, and not, rolling, pushing his chips in the middle of the table and rolling craps on himself, and then proving that he didn't have it. I really do. I think he's all of what his dad probably is.
No, he's all of what I saw.
Yeah.
You can't. It's all in black and white or color.
I agree. I totally. But don't you think the storyline is him proving himself? Like Moss came in, he thought he should have gone first.
You got a guy that's been unfairly scrutinized for being confident.
I think there's more to it than that, though.
I don't think so.
Teams backed away because he came in with the headphones. He didn't answer questions.
Just like every other rookie.
They go into these meetings wearing with their headphones on.
Hey, let me tell you something, man.
You
I
would
hate to
never
say
do
it like
that.
this. I tell you what. And that's my opinion. And none of it made sense. Because you go around those rookies, all of them have headphones on. They all got egos. They all have that. And that's just the bottom line. Now, whatever reason was that they did it to this kid, I guess it really don't matter because he can play.
Well, there was talk that he and Cam Ward, who would it be, Shador or Cam Ward? Cam Ward, we didn't hear of him beyond the headphones, but when he was shown footage of himself saying, well, what did you do wrong here? He didn't blame other players on the team and didn't, shove it off. Maybe that's a little too much, Dion.
Well, I tell you what, none of what you're saying to me makes any sense to me. You can either play or you can't, so the boy can play.
I saw him play at a high level, but I just mean the pressure is going to be on to play at the professional level, as it is all these people. When you see him come out, you could name 4 or 5 quarterbacks that you would have sworn out of college would be great players in the NFL that don't pan out, and it's just to me the same comparison can be held for anyone that comes out of college until you see him play. Like it doesn't, you haven't proven anything until you put that NFL helmet on and go produce.
But also there's the play, and then there's the leadership that was a big part of it, too.
I agree.
Mike Tyson, remember he had told me about, and I think Dante could have been, he had great season, bad season, great season. It's like season on, season off. But Tyson told me once he sent him home with a DVD to watch, his game film footage. Well, he could check to see what he watched. He watched movies. You got to be serious about it. And that probably was one of the years it was a bad season.
But yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I played with Dante for 1 year, but he wasn't. He didn't start.
Is that a good? Oh, he didn't.
He didn't play. I mean, yeah, it was
after he hurt his knee, was it?
No, I played with him. It
was early.
It was his rookie year. He was with me on the same team, but he looked good in practice. But it was Randall Cunningham and it was Jeff George. So I mean,
physically, he was one of the most incredible quarterbacks to come into the NFL.
He could have had running skills. I mean, he was a 270-pound quarterback.
Just incredible.
I mean, Stussy and Christie went into his room and tried to work him over, and he sent them both home pouting. He did. He wore them out. He wore them both out. But at the same time, they came into my room. They said, "We tried to jump Dante just now. We left tired." I mean, he wore them out. Which is pretty hard to believe, but he absolutely did.
They should have called you in with the tape.
Oh, man. I don't think I want any part of him either, But, hey, look, he was a big kid. He was a big, strong kid. And as good a kid as I mean, he came in and did radio with me a couple times, and he was a good person. I enjoyed him.
He was. I really liked him. I think he was a great kid. If that knee didn't go south on him, I think he would have had
huge career because he already was climbing up the record charts here with the Vikings.
And if he would have had somebody else doing his contracts, because he was doing them himself, he never did.
Was he really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Dante did?
I did not know that.
He ended up. He tried to do it himself, and then he messed himself out of a lot of money.
Yeah, he did. All right, I got to tell a quick story about. I was walking through the weight room with Tice, and Dante's coming. This is one of the bad seasons. And Tice grabs me, grabs my arms, puts me on the back, and he goes to Dante, "This is one of the guys who's been critical of you. And you got to take a swing at him." And I said to Dante, "Well, he could, but he'll probably miss."
Wow.
Because that's when he was missing.
That's funny. Well, he wouldn't have hurt you. He had such small hands, supposedly. He wouldn't have hurt you if he'd hit you.
Oh, I don't know. I think he was put
Which
together.
Is so stupid.
Small hands.
Yeah.
All right.
Correct.
You know where they got nice big hands to get to your tires and everything else? As a matter of fact, I just had my oil change. They do everything. I walked in there and I said to Justin, I want the plus in Tires Plus. I don't need tires done. I need the plus. And they plussed it. So we've got some information for people. Chuck goes there too.
He's a regular.
Yeah, I am a regular.
Because you know why though? This is the greatest testimony of the work they do because you are so particular with your vehicles.
Right.
You don't take.
I drive all the way down there just to let him deal with it.
Right, because you go to Florida, you go to Maryland, you drive.
Right,
you're not dealing with TSA.
So I trust.
You don't need a real ID.
No. And I got to get one.
Do you have a passport?
No, but if I'm going to go to Ireland, I might.
Well,
I have to. So.
I don't have a real ID. I'm not getting one. You get a passport.
How come you're not going to get a real ID?
Because I don't need one. I have my passport. No, yeah, I could fly with my passport.
Oh, you got your passport.
But you also can get a passport card, which is the size of a license. It's a lot easier. This real ID, they want everything from you. Did any of you get it yet?
No, I haven't.
I've got mine. It's coming in like 6 weeks.
Okay, but they had to come up with so much crap.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's harder to get a real ID than it is a passport.
I had to get a birth certificate sent from Appanoose County in Centerville, Iowa, from my sister. She had to go to the courthouse and get my... They said, we can't find him. Honestly, they couldn't find me being born in Centerville, Iowa.
But when you got your first license, you needed something like that.
Right. I thought you just had to bring your license.
Well, but there was a twist in this story. Mine was expired by a week.
Well, they also
I went past my birthday by 1 week, and they wouldn't allow it. Anyway, so I had myself to...
I got a thing in the mail, and it told me it says everything you got to have. But
yeah. And
you can have a birth certificate, but if you don't, you got to have your license, and you got to have...
Or a passport. Both of mine, my driver's license and my passport, were expired. Oh, not good. Not good. Not good.
All right, let's hear about Tires Plus.
Yes. You know, when you need to drive to go get your real ID, you got to make sure your car is ready to roll. And that's where Tires Plus Buffalo, Tires Plus Wilmer, and Ultimate Tire in Alexandria are there for you. And now until June 16th, when you purchase for Michelin, BF Goodrich, or Uniroyal passenger or light truck tires, you'll receive a Visa Rewards card up to $110. Remember, these Visa Rewards can be used anywhere, so it's basically like you're getting cash. For more information, visit TiresPlusBuffalo.com and make sure Justin takes care of you because he can pull all the strings around there.
He'll take care of you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. JimBob Sports Jamboree. Be right back. We're back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree. Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, the superstar Mike Morris, Jim Rich from Fox 9. I'm Bob Sansevere, and Brady needs to keep his yap shut.
Yeah, just shut
during the breaks because he got Chuck all wound up.
Yeah.
About the
Shador wound up before I got here.
Yeah, you were a little wound up. All right, but you know what?
Who brings us this show, Bob?
Would you give me a second to get it out? Why don't you tell everyone?
Why don't you shut your mouth, Jim?
You clearly want to say.
Why? No.
You want to talk about the window store, those great guys at the window store.
I do.
Tyler Gans.
I love Tyler.
Got to get his keister back in here.
Yeah.
He's the owner of the window stores. It's not just windows. It's the window store, like Tires Plus, the window store plus.
Fantastic.
They'll do so much for you. You have any issues with anything having to do with a structure, house, building, you go to the window store and you talk to them. This Tyler will take care of you. And you know who else? There's other people take care of you too. You need the hardware to do something? You go to, where do? You go to Polici's, right?
Polici's Hardware. They own 4 Ace Hardware stores. The Polici family does. So in Zumbrota and Farmington and Rosemount and Egan, don't forget those 4. They're Polici owned, okay? 34 years plus in the business. So if you need something, Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. That's all there is to it. Amazing. Isn't it amazing? I did that. All on my own. So get on down there and do it. Match up your paint. Do it perfect. Get the DeWalt tools, select tools, the 20-volt, $30 discount on select 20-volt DeWalt, and $20 discount on the select 20-volt Craftsman. Okay, do that today. Superstar said so. 4 locations. I already told you, but just in case you forgot, Zumbrota and Farmington, Rosemount, Egan. Boom.
And I'll tell you can do it on like a quarter of a tank of gas if you go and get a truck at
Dodge of Burnsville. Right there in Burnsville. And so you'll get a bumper sticker that says Dodge of Burnsville on it, and you'll be happy that it matches the town that it's actually in. Okay? Then you'll pass all the different trash dumpsters getting there. When you get there, it'll be Dodge of Burnsville. Mark Saba, Adam Saba. Stop in. Tell them what you need. They'll take good care of you. Make you a trade. Service department, second to none. The inventory's there. You can go through the parking lot of trucks and cars everywhere. Well over 400 units on the lot.
All right,
Pick one out.
You have got to talk to Dodge of Burnsville and Polici. I love your Milo shirt. Look at that thing. That thing is terrific. How long have you had that one?
Milo barbell. Milo barbell. I've had it for a long time. I got
that shirt?
The reverse side of the animal on the back.
Oh, that's great.
There you go.
Is that a big...
It's a Wolverine.
Oh,
I always tell the kids that I train in there. I said, I want everyone to be toughest pound for pound. I want all you kids from the littlest guy up to the biggest guy to be, ferocious. So that's our mascot.
All right, Minnesota Gophers, obviously. How long would a Gopher last against a Wolverine?
About
Seconds?
one moment. What? I don't know.
Nanoseconds?
Like a New York second, a New Jersey second.
All right.
Yep. 1 second.
How do they come up with a Gopher?
It's ridiculous.
Just for those that are listening via radio, the show is also on YouTube at sportslegendsusa.com, right? And you can see Mr. Morris's shirt. Go ahead, punch him up one more time there.
Or just punch
me.
You
can show everyone. No, I'm not going to do that.
Punch me.
Look at that. I mean, that is something that people want to own. Do you sell those?
I do sell them there. Yeah.
Really? You got to get them in Polici's.
Oh, really? I'll get a Polici's Ace. I got their hat right now. I've got a nice...
No, get the shirts.
Yeti. Oh, the shirt? Well, yeah, I can do it. I can do it too.
There. They'll sell them.
Of course they will.
And
can I get one?
I'll get you one. I'll get all you guys a Milo shirt. Where big things happen. Where big things happen.
Just remember, my size is small compared to yours.
I'll get you like a really small shirt. Well, I'll get you a big shirt, and then I'll sew on some really small sleeves. I'll hand make it for you. No, I'll get Milo shirts for everybody.
I'm in a medium, but I'm more comfortable than a double X.
Let's do it. Chuck, what size you are?
XL.
XL. I got you covered.
All right. Now I gotta say to you, by the way, the YouTube stuff still brought to you by the Window Store. Quit failing us here.
I like that.
Wow.
I like that.
Right.
So, Chuck, do you like this international? Do you think the NFL should become, Europe, Mexico City, Berlin?
I think
do you think this is the right direction for football to go?
I think they should have an NFL Europe. Who wants to fly back and forth like that?
Well, that's what they're gunning for, it seems like. Right? That they want the league to...
I guess if the money's right, that's where they're going. Money must be right.
I suppose if you go to an 18-game schedule, there's going to be 2 buys in there. So that'll help these teams come back and readjust to
They'd have to have
North
a team
America.
Come here for 4 weeks. Or they can't just send them back every game.
Well, I think that's why I think it has to be an even number. Either you start with 2 or 4 over there. You go over there, you play 2 games, you stay there, they'll build some complex like your TCO, right, that's there, and you come in and it's all set up the way you normally have it set. And you stay there for 2 weeks, and then they build something here in the U.S. for those European teams that would come over. They'll sit here for 2 weeks, play a couple games, go back home. I mean, do you think that's something as a player, could you have adjusted to something like that?
I think money makes everybody a dad. That's what I think.
There's a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot to it. You just have to hope it doesn't throw your whole season into a funk if you're one of those teams that don't adjust well or don't have the coaching staff to keep you on task. Denny was good, in and out, or Kevin, I think, is good at that kind of stuff. I think there's some teams that would suffer doing that, but the guys who are mentally tough will be able to persevere through all that.
It's discipline.
It is, totally.
That's all.
Okay, Bob, what do you think? Do you think people are going to enjoy having football at 8:30 in the morning? Because now you'll have a whole, let's see, what would be 12 hours? It would be, by that game, so you'd have 14 hours of football every Sunday.
Actually, I think
because that's what they're looking at.
Love that.
Just got to make sure to get your fantasy roster in early the night before, or you could be screwed. I'll tell you, what they should have done is they should have had 4 teams over there and just flop the opponents. Do something where they switch it up, get it so that they could have kept another team over there and played. And I mean, the Vikings, they should be in better shape, you would think, this year. Although they do have the AFC North. They got right. We don't know what Pittsburgh's going to be with their quarterback. Cleveland we don't think will be that good, but they got Baltimore in there too, and Cincinnati. That's a tough division. It's tougher than that AFC South that they had.
Yes.
So, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen this year with this team.
But these games also take the Vikings out of a situation where they play 2 outdoor games, perhaps in cold weather, right? They could have dropped Cleveland in November. They could have dropped the Vikings in Pittsburgh in December.
They're 8 home, 7 away, and 2 neutral now.
Right, so the Vikings don't lose a home game by these.
No.
None of these are Viking home games, the 2 international games.
Oh, well, one's a home team, but it's not. Hey, that Tottenspur Stadium, that's a home stadium for them.
Right, but the Vikings
times.
still will have 8 games at U.S. Bank Stadium this year. They will not lose that revenue. And I think that's another thing they look at in the NFL is, is Cleveland really drawing top dollar like the Vikings draw? I mean, that's why Jacksonville is over there every year because nobody goes to Jacksonville home games. So they're like, we'll go overseas.
Also, their owner is, he's internationally born. He likes doing that, and I'm surprised they weren't the one to get the 2 of them.
Yeah. So
there's that, and I'm sure that, I was there for a week when the Vikings played in 1988 in Sweden, and they filled the week for these guys. They kept it busy. I had a little trouble with the jet lag because I stayed up until like 5 a.m. and I met actually my future wife in a bar at like 4:30 in the morning out there, and she tried. I've told you the story, right? She tried calling me. Her roommate, her best friend, said you got to call him. So she called, and there's a little bit problem with when you talk about things.
They were chasing him. They were chasing
She was.
you.
Oh, okay. I had the only sports writer groupie in history, but they put her through to Bob Schnelker. They woke up Bob Schnelker at 5 a.m.
Oh.
And then they got rid of that phone call quick when they realized who it was. Oh. But I left the wake up it must have been, it had to be early because I got in at 4, and I left the wake up for, like 10 or 11, and the phone rings, and it's 5, and I said, geez, I feel pretty good for sleeping an hour. I slept 13 hours, and I ran out and the guys were walking back, and I had to put together an interview with a couple of guys straggling back from practice. Thankfully, you could walk to where the thing was. So, yeah, I didn't do good with jet lag. But I digress. You know what? Let's take a break because I want to talk to all of you guys. And if you had the vote, Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, they're now eligible because they've turned it from a permanent ban to a lifetime ban. So now they're eligible. All right, let's take that quick break. Again, we're brought to you by the Window Store. We'll be right back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree. We are back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, another Vikings legend, the superstar Mike Morris, and a third legend, Jim Rich from Fox 9. No, not me.
You have been a journalist longer than I've been in television.
I'm in the presence of greatness.
He's been Pioneer Press, lead.
You know what?
Columnist.
I can only hope to be a fraction
KQ, #1 radio show.
As you and the Window Store, which brings you this show. All right, so here we go. Chuck,
okay.
You tell me, Would you vote, if you had the vote, for Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson to be in the Hall of Fame?
I surely would.
It's kind of hard to...
Pete, I mean, you know, forget the gambling thing, but that guy... He earned his name, Mr. Hustle, whatever it was.
Yep, Charlie Hustle.
I mean, when he stepped on that baseball field, he was 100%. Off the baseball field, he was 100 miles an hour. I mean,
He was Charlie Hustle
you know,
there too.
Yeah, he was all everything, you know. And sure, he made a mistake by gambling, but doggone, I mean, now he's gone. He'll never benefit from it. But you know, I think it was too harsh of a punishment in the first place.
At least in his case, he was accused of betting on his own team.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
Shoeless Joe,
Yeah, well,
who was accused of betting on the other team.
Wasn't Shoeless Joe Jackson accused also of throwing games?
Yeah,
that was the story. Was that he
I
threw
think
games,
I
right?
think-
Well, that's what the
Or that he was accused
Black
of.
Sox.
that was
Yeah.
the Black Sox scandal.
That's
Yeah,
where they
that-
threw the
that
World
was-
Series.
Okay.
They were
that's
heavily
what it
prohibitive
was.
favorites
Yeah.
to win the
Yeah.
World Series. But he did, when they look at it, he batted over 300 in the series. I mean, when you watched, apparently when they watched him play, I don't know that there's any, there might be one little film of it, but they didn't have games broadcast back then.
No.
It didn't exist. So I don't have a problem with either one of them going in.
I don't
Neither
either.
do I.
I don't either.
they should have been in.
Well, if you
Totally.
if they shouldn't be in, then you got to like come up with a whole,
Yeah,
10
but-
commandments, right?
Yeah.
You break any of these, you're not going to be in any Hall of Fame.
But-
and then stick to it, not go.
Then
Well,
somebody
these
just-
guys, because then you're dealing with the steroid era baseball players. Steroids were they banned back then? Not really. And all of that mess.
I agree with you on
and,
that.
And then
Absolutely.
the guys
I agree.
that got
I
caught
agree.
are out, but there were other ones that didn't get caught.
Exactly.
And they're in.
And they're in.
the Hall of Fame. So
Well, then you got. Well, anyway, maybe I've been that safe.
I would just say
You know,
judge them on their baseball.
The guy that killed his entire family.
Not Jim Tyre, he killed his wife.
Well, he killed whoever it was. He killed
himself.
Well, whatever.
You're talking about the Kansas City Chief?
Yeah,
Yeah. He
he-
got in recently,
he got in.
He did get in.
which did surprise me. a little.
Me too. I didn't think he was that great a player. I didn't think he was.
Okay, you take that, and then you look at somebody gambling.
Yeah, totally different.
I mean-
Totally. It just to me, it should be judged on baseball play, production. For football, any sport, let's just talk about their game out there on the field. Anyone and everyone knows that there's both steroid use with people who have gotten in before that weren't caught, and whatever else. The gambling, it's been there. It's always been there.
Always.
They've been before or against the ones who got caught were the biggest names, and we talk about them. And we also have banned two of the biggest names. But the new criteria is baseball, football, basketball, whatever the sport is, that's what we're going to judge them on.
So now we're saying Barry Bonds, we just have to wait till he dies, and then he'll get into the Hall of Fame.
But no, he is eligible. All these guys are eligible. They're on the ballot.
Well, that's true.
And
That's
I
true.
read 1 year, I said, well, I can't vote. But you know what? Then I said, if they're eligible, I'm going to look at the numbers. And you could take steroids. Yes, are you stronger? Yes. But it doesn't mean that it immediately means you could hit a ball better. I mean, you can hit it farther, but you're making contact. It's not going to make you get contact.
Right? Do you have the eye-hand? That doesn't help you with eye-hand coordination.
You're correct.
I mean, to hit the baseball like Barry Bonds.
I mean, he was a great baseball player in
No
Pittsburgh
doubt.
before he started taking that
Yes.
stuff. But now, instead of hitting the warning track,
He was putting him over.
he put him over the wall.
I think
put
it
him
was
in the bay.
It was a bigger advantage for the pitchers than it was even the hitters.
I do too.
Because they're getting a lot more velocity out of it.
Oh, I think so too.
And,
And they also probably stood a greater risk of blowing a shoulder or an elbow out. But I digress. They did, and some got caught, some didn't.
Punishment's necessary, but lifetime is a stretch.
I don't think it should be a ban on punishment. Yes, what that is, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't
but
know,
but
but-
definitely not being banned from being eligible to go in the Hall of Fame. I don't think so.
Two guys who I think I screwed over more than anyone is Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa.
Agreed.
Because I remember the story about McGuire where he had Andrew Destine. Is that what it is?
Anderstein.
Okay, he had it in his locker and it was legal. There was no
Yeah, you're right.
restrictions to it, but he has paid the price.
There are some who have said that he put that up there as a
Prop.
prop. Nor Anderstein Dione, and they claim that he just had that in his locker. Why are you gaining so much weight? That kept coming up every day. Why are you so much bigger? I mean, what is it? Well, he'd point at the model.
He and Sammy Sosa saved baseball.
I agree.
That year.
Totally.
And so did Ripken. He was involved in
Cal
that
Ripken,
too.
yeah.
But I mean, I vote for these guys now. I look at the numbers, which is the most important thing.
That's it.
I'll tell you what else is important. You got to look at where Chuck Foreman's going. You got a busy rest of the month. May 21st, 2 o'clock. You go in Iowa. Cedar Rapids High V6. You'll be appearing there at from 2 to 6 on the 21st. 22nd, West Des Moines Walmart. I love Des Moines.
I do
we used to
too.
go to a lot of horse shows there at the State Fairgrounds. May 22nd at 10:30. It's a Legends meet and greet. Skull Marketing very heavily involved with that. So you'll be there. And then West Des Moines at the 22nd, same day, 2 o'clock at the West Des Moines High V. And you'll be appearing at the High V number 1 from 2 to 6. And you'll be taking pictures, talking football, giving out tailgate spices. Another big, that's a big part of these appearances, tailgate spices, Skull Marketing. And help raise money for the Children's Miracle Network Foundation. May 30th, 2 o'clock, Sauk Center, Walmart. You can meet Chuck there from 2 to 4. Wow. And also, the May 31st, 10:30, Rochester Shields. A day of tailgate spices, sampling, prizes, autographs, and pictures with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman. And Brady, you're part of that, right? So is he your wheelman, or are you just beating him down there? He brings
Brady's
everything.
really important.
But
Brady's
that's
never
why
heard that
Chuck
before.
takes his car to Tires Plus.
That's right.
Because then he has no
Brady
problems.
rides with me sometimes. We have a good time.
You roll together?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I got a quick question for each of you because we've got to wrap this up. A few weeks ago, we picked the 3 greatest Vikings. For each of you, is there a guy at your position that you thought came the closest to being what you were, the type of, Mike, for you, the long snapper? Was there a guy that reminded you of what you did, or really there wasn't? The speed
Yes,
and
yeah. Not like me, but I think Mick Tinglehoff is why I chose to pick up long snapping as something to do outside of playing offensive line. I think because I watched him snap, it's like, the guy's really good. And I said, I'm going to long snap too. It just fell into my hands that way. So I looked up to him, and I think I don't think he worked at trying to make the ball as fast as he could or whatever else. He was just dead on, just location, just always there. Just always something to punt, always something to put down and kick. So, I mean, he was just that consistency thing.
How about Chuck? How about you? Ladanian, Marshall Faulk. I mean, what guy reminds you the most of what you could do? Or
those are two great guys right there, for sure.
Any others that stand out?
Oh, there's wow.
Is there a modern day Chuck Foreman playing right now with your versatility that you look at? A lot of them are versatile, but as versatile as what you did.
Yeah.
There's a few of them.
There's a few.
All right, we'll go into the names next time. Again, take a quick break. We're going to be talking.
Who's your idol?
As a writer?
Yeah, Ernest Hemingway.
We'll go with Grantland Rice. I just love the name. Outlined against a cold gray October sky, the 4 horsemen rode again. All right, we're going to ride again, and we're going to hear from this is an incredible story. Worthington Hockey Association, they need to raise money, about $10 million for a new arena. They're having lemonade stands and cookie sales as part of it. We're going to hear more about how they're going to get there in a moment. Take a quick break. The JimBob Sports Jamboree. Be right back. On behalf of Vikings legend Chuck Foreman and Fox 9's Jim Rich, I'm Bob Sansevere, and I want to say thank you to all of our listeners and our radio partners, KXRA in Alexandria, KRWC in Buffalo, KDHL in Faribault and Owatonna, KDAL and WDSM in Duluth, WNMT in Hibbing, KTOE in Mankato, AM 660 The Bear, WBHR in St. Cloud, and Wild 102 FM in Roseau. Also, KWOA AM FM in Worthington, and KKBJ in Bemidji, and Bob Total Country serving the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and surrounding areas. We'll talk to you later.